Greetings, and welcome to The World According to Pleiades on KFUG Radio in Crescent City, California, 101.1 FM. The 1-hour weekly radio program that covers everything from alternative medicine, hypnosis, meditation, success, human interaction, alien abduction, and the question of, what is reality anyway, to name but a few. Today we're going to talk about meditation. Meditation. Well, meditation can improve your life on many levels in many different ways. For example, meditation is excellent for relieving stress. So in the sense of relieving stress, it can just help a person become more productive in life in general, whether in the workplace or in the home environment, or just life in general. Also, it's been known, there's been plenty of research done, so what I'm mentioning, if you wanted to surf it out online, you'd be able to find plenty of research to back this up. Mind-body coordination is definitely also enhanced by meditation. So how can that apply just to general activity, life experience? Well, sports, for example. The use of meditation to enhance one's performance in the world of sports is not uncommon. So you have stress reduction, enhanced coordination, enhanced ability to think. It aids the thought process, it aids creativity, and the list goes on and on and on. Now, why do I feel like I can speak at least semi-intelligently on meditation? That's a very good question. Did I read a book? And now I feel qualified to make some comments on meditation? Well, let's see. I guess I've read a little bit. But more it is in my experience of having been a meditator. So I'll share a little history just so you have an idea of where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a place of practical experience. I was formally initiated into the transcendental meditation technique when I was just 18, which is more than just a couple of years ago. So I spent time there, and of course I had a few teachers that I could ask questions of to better my understanding of the technique and the experience. And of course I did ask many questions. Now, from there, I eventually moved into a place of, I became several years later, I became a Bhakti yogi, and I lived in a temple, and I wore the robes, so I looked very cool. Once again, I had teachers. Now, this is not part of the transcendental meditation technique movement. This is something else. And why did I check something else out? Was I dissatisfied with the TM experience? Absolutely not. Far from it. The transcendental meditation experience was very beneficial. And interestingly enough, for such a simple technique, very powerful. No, I checked something else out just because I'm an adventurous type of person, and I wasn't going to be satisfied just looking at one section of the pie. I wanted to know more. I wanted to have more experiences, so I did that. So we have more background here. I'm just giving you a little background so you have a better understanding of why I might be an interesting and potentially reliable resource when it comes to speaking on meditation. Let's see now. Outside of those two formal initiations into different styles of meditation techniques, I also lived as a monk in two other, or three other, I'm forgetting now, different places relating to different styles of meditation. And eventually, once upon a time, I actually ended up at the Transcendental Meditation University in Fairfield, Iowa, formerly MIU, which eventually turned into MUM. So it went from a Maharishi International University and had a name change to Maharishi University of Management. While I was there, I was at the university library circulation desk on staff, and also another one of my functions outside of the library became meditation facilitator for the staff and students and the citizens that were meditators in that town. So my function was to begin and end meditations and on occasion facilitate better understanding of what a person was experiencing. That wasn't formally given to me. No one came to me and said, now you must formally help people better understand their experience. No, but it actually turned into that. Just because, as a matter of course, occasionally something would pop up and I would be the one there, and I would need to interact with somebody on that level. Okay, so we have a little bit of just a little bit of history, and it goes on. I could share some interesting stories of a personal nature, but I won't really bother because this isn't really about my personal stories relating to living in temples or meditation or yoga or whatever. This is more of a introductory to meditation. I'm also going to include some simple techniques. Now, meditation is a large field. I mean very large. There are a lot of different styles and types. I'm going to share with you tonight a style and type that I am most familiar with through my own experience. That only makes sense. That way there, if you do decide to pick up on this and run with it, you can potentially have me as a resource to talk to if you feel the need. So I want to start out also by saying life itself is a meditation in a very real way. But we're going to talk about a specific technique. Now, I'm going to be introducing to you a mantra style of meditation. Once again, there are many types. I'm going to use the mantra style. And I will mention you can also do mantrum, M-A-N-T-R-U-M, as opposed to mantra, M-A-N-T-R-A. But I'm going to recommend the mantra. And what's the difference? Thank you for asking. Well, a mantrum is when you're vocalizing it. You're actually, say, using say a mystical sound vibration, in a way that is audible. And that definitely has some good reasons behind it. For example, everything is a vibration. And so if you're actually vocalizing using a mantram, then you are sharing that with the atmosphere around you, and it's affecting your body and the atmosphere, and physical reality is going to respond to the vibrations that you're creating, which is great. But the reason I lean heavily towards the mantra style is I like to be able to, if I choose to meditate anywhere, without people really being aware that that's what I'm doing. That way there, as they say, on a plane, on a train, on a bus, whatever, sitting in a park, sitting in a library, whatever, I can meditate, and pretty much people aren't really going to have a clue, because I don't need to sit in a lotus or a half lotus. I mean, I can, and there's nothing wrong with that, but if I'm in public, maybe I don't want that extra attention. So that's why I like the silent technique of a mantra. I'm going to recommend, very shortly, I'm actually going to give some instruction here, so you might want to get a recording device ready, or maybe some note-taking material. If you would like some formal instruction, feel free to contact me. I give the contact information in relation to interviews at the end of every broadcast, and you can use that by way of email to contact me about getting together for some formal instruction on meditation, if you so desire, or if you have questions. Now, as I mentioned, there are many styles of meditations and many types. So like anything else, you're going to have yay-sayers and naysayers. You know, it's like, no, don't use that style, use this style, it's the best, whatever. That's just like that in this world, whether it's, what types of vitamins to take or not take, or what diet is the best, that kind of thing. I'm just sharing with you from my personal experience. Also, I do realize this is the United States, which means this is a highly litigious society. What does that mean? That means that basically there are folks out there that are willing to sue anybody for anything at the drop of a hat. So I'm going to enter now with my disclaimer. Here it is. Don't sue me. I don't have anything you want on that level. But seriously, folks, one part of the disclaimer will be, if you are in a space where you feel you have some psychological challenges, maybe you're seeing somebody, like a psychologist or psychiatrist, or maybe you feel like you should see somebody, then I would say probably don't use any of these techniques until you've actually spoken to your healthcare provider. Not that I personally feel there would be any challenge with it, but because I need to put that disclaimer in there, I'm saying talk to your person first before you follow through with this stuff. Just make sure that's just making sure that it's right for you. If you're just the average Joe or Mary, and you don't really have any, say, psychological challenges and all that stuff, don't even worry about it. But I mean, I have to put the disclaimer in. I guess you've already heard me say why. Okay, so mantra. We're going to go with a mantra, and now you know why. I'm going to use the God mantra. It's considered everybody's mantra, and it's broadcast friendly. If, once again, you contact me for personal instruction, then I could actually come up with a mantra more personal to you, but the God mantra is huge. It's very powerful, and it's very fine. Now, as I mentioned, there are many styles of meditation. Not all are created equally, and not all, contrary to what has been shared by some organizations out there in the world, not all meditations are going to be suitable for everyone. So just follow your own instinct on that. If this feels like for you it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. Don't worry about it. If you want to engage in meditation, look for something else. Maybe even personal instruction, or maybe even a different mantra. Now, I'm going to share a quick story about mantra pronunciation. This story is told in many ways. I'm going to give you the really, really short version, just because I don't really remember the really, really long version. But it has to do with mantra pronunciation. There are people that say, oh, you must pronounce it exactly like this, and if you don't, you're blowing it, you're wasting your time. That's not really true. Now, I know from personal experience, I've interacted with a lot of meditators, and I've known their technique, and I've known what the formal instruction was, and it was easy to see that they weren't really getting it. And they still were getting profound results. So, here's the story. There's this guy. He's like he's like really picky, and he becomes like a head monk someplace, and he's like really anal, you know. And anyway, years into his experience, when he's like, you know, grown and raised up to this high level of monkness or whatever, he's out traveling around, visiting different monasteries, things like that. And this one place that he visits, he has to take a boat to get there and everything. And he's greeted by the head of the monastery there. And they interact, they meditate together, they have a nice visit. And this head guy, this like really important head guy monk, notices that the pronunciation is off. This guy he's visiting, he's not saying the mantra right. And it's like, oh, that is so wrong. So he wants to help with that. So he says, I really need to tell you, you're totally mispronouncing your mantra. You do it like this, not like that. And you'll have much better experience. As a matter of fact, the way you've been using your mantra, or mantrum, I guess, because he was able to hear it, you're just wasting your time. You're not going to really have much of an effect at all. And so the monk, and there's like official titles, I forget. I think this is an old Chinese story or something. Might even be Indian. Anyway. He thanks him very much for sharing this important information. You know, he's like, oh, thank you for coming here and being able to understand that I was mispronouncing this mantram. So he's very grateful. And now the head guy monk, he's leaving in his boat. You know, he's being rowed away to get back to the mainland. And he's just relaxing, and he sees in the distance, coming from the shore, something moving, and it's moving very quickly, and it's coming towards him, and he's wondering, what the heck is that? And after just a little bit, he realizes it's the monk that he was just interacting with. But interestingly enough, he's not using a boat. What? He's running across the surface of the water. Okay, fine. So finally he catches up with the boat. He's a little out of breath. And he says something like, please forgive me. I realize you're very, very busy. But I've forgotten the proper pronunciation. And I realize the importance of what you shared with me. So please share with me again the proper pronunciation so that my practice will be as perfect as I can make it. And the important head guy monk, like I said, I forget the terminology. He's just like looking at him there, standing walking beside the boat on the water, and he just looks at him and he's like, never mind. It's okay. Just continue as you were. You don't really need it. So it's just a little story there to push forth the idea that, yeah, okay, proper pronunciation it's a good thing, but really the way this stuff works, intention is huge. Intention is huge. And if your intention is good, then pretty much you could be using anything. So I'm sharing the God mantra with you, but if there's like a concept or a word that you like better, then I would say go ahead and do that because it's your intention. Yeah, like say for example, if you would rather use the word love, that's totally cool, you know. Don't use anything that's like stupid. Excuse me for saying that, but I would just recommend not using anything that's like profoundly stupid. And I'll let your imagination figure out what I mean by that. Because this actually does have significance, and you might feel like you want to do an experiment, say something, and you want to use the word car keys or something. Well, I'm going to lean towards not doing that, you know, or you might want to choose something that's even, you know, profoundly stupid, and I won't even say what I think that might be. It's just that the better your choice, I feel ultimately the better your results, because you're relating to also your intention. What is your intention when you sit to meditate? Are you thinking of just improved mind-body coordination and health, that kind of thing? Nothing wrong with that, but I mean, let's just keep it as pure and enlightened as possible. So I'm recommending, of course, that you use the God mantra, which is the Om. Now, if you're interested in proper pronunciation of the Om, there's plenty of resources online that will help you understand how to do that better. I'm not all caught up in being all anal about how you do it. You know, that's why I shared that story with you just now. So basically, let's see, I'm just going to quickly share a story with you in relation to health. I've mentioned meditation being something that can really help a person health-wise. When I was a kid, okay, and I was doing the transcendental meditation technique, I was feeling under the weather. I had like an ear infection. I seemed to remember somebody saying something about meditation helping health-wise. So I thought, well, nothing to lose. So I sat down and did a meditation. And interestingly enough, while I was doing the meditation, afternoon or evening, I forget, when I was meditating, something interesting happened. I felt and heard all this like crunching in my head, and it was like, boom! Whatever was going on, the meditation had apparently balanced out my vibrations, or whatever you want to call it, in such a way that it just blasted through whatever health challenge I was having, and that was it. The next day, my ears were back to normal. I mean, I felt this like painful crunch and clicking in the midst of the meditation at one point, and then boom, you know, I felt a noticeable improvement, and the next day my ears were totally cleared up. So, you know, that was just a personal experience of mine that I thought I would share with you. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? If you're driving, I would say don't really bother following along with this, but if you're interested, then I would say find a comfortable place. Go ahead and sit down. Hopefully your environment is going to be as quiet as you can make it, but I will quickly share something. In relation to being able to meditate anywhere what I'm about to share with you is, I feel, very important. I've met meditators over the years that didn't get this point. And maybe some of their teachers didn't understand this point. Or maybe somehow the translation from teacher to student didn't really click into place, because this point was missed, and it's so huge. Wherever you are, whatever your experience is, view it as a part of the meditation. For example, and this is huge, this will make the difference between a great meditation and a meditation that's just full of frustration and potential anger at somebody running a lawnmower. Okay, let's say, for example, ideally, yeah, find your quiet place. But let's say you find your quiet place and somebody starts up a lawnmower outside of your window. View that experience as an inherent aspect of your meditation. It's not that you had a quiet space and now you're being completely disrupted. No, because what's that going to do? That's more likely than not just going to cause you to fight what's going on. Wishing that lawnmower would shut up. Or the people in the next room that are talking or arguing, or the television set, or this or that, or whatever. No. View whatever sounds come into your experience as perfect. If that lawnmower starts up, it's there because it's exactly what's needed at that time. So it's nothing to fight against. You can view it as an expression of yourself, because yourself is everywhere, literally everywhere. It doesn't end. It goes on forever. Actually, that lawnmower is you. Okay? You'll have a greater understanding of what I mean should you continue with meditation for an extended period of time. These aren't just interesting concepts or pretty words. You will grow into this experience as a matter of course. Even if your intention is just improved mind-body coordination, if you continue meditating, you will move into a place of greater understanding of reality. You will move into a place of greater and greater enlightenment. How quickly that will happen for you? Hey, I'm not able to say that for you. I'm not able to give you a time frame. You could totally kick over into that more enlightened space in your first meditation, or first day, or first week, or month, or 6 months, or year. But it's there. It's an inherent aspect of the meditation. So you don't really have to worry about it. It's just going to occur little by little, bit by bit. So remember, your experience, whatever it is absolutely perfect. Don't fight the lawnmower. If you fight the lawnmower, you're doing it wrong. And you really might as well just take a walk in the park or a walk in the woods, because you'll get more out of that than you will in wishing the lawnmower would shut up. Okay. So also, that's what allows you to meditate anywhere. You don't need to find your perfectly quiet place. Oh, it's great if you can, but you don't really need to, because it'll be perfect anyway. Okay, so to start off, and I needed to share that because that's huge. Without that piece, I've just met so many people over the years that were struggling with their meditation because somehow they missed that part, and it's huge. So I'm going to ask you to, and even if you're not going to meditate now, if you're in a space where you can just do this little exercise, it will be helpful for future reference. So in a few moments, I'm going to ask you to just close your eyes. And so here we go. I'm going to ask you to do that right now. Go ahead and just close your eyes. And I'm going to be quiet for just a moment. If we were in the same room, I would probably be quiet for maybe 30 seconds or a minute. But we're doing this over the radio, and just to be more radio friendly, I'm not going to take that much time, but the effect will still be the same. So, okay, I'm going to be quiet for a moment. You're sitting there with your eyes closed. If you're able to do this, go ahead and close your eyes now while I'm quiet for a few moments. Okay, now keep your eyes closed and slowly open them. Take, like maybe 10 or 15 seconds to just slowly open your eyes. I'm going to add that point in there right now so I don't forget it. After every meditation, when it comes time to open your eyes, don't just boom, just don't open them. Give yourself like a whole minute, or longer if you want to slowly open your eyes, very slowly, and looking down as opposed to looking straight out into the room, slowly opening your eyes, looking down, making sure they've finally opened after about 30 seconds to a minute, or longer, if you like, before you start engaging once again in the physical reality. And basically the reason for that is I don't want you to shock your system. You might feel like nothing happened, but it's a good habit to get into, to come out of your meditation slowly. So beginning from the beginning is the best way. Because really, I guarantee if you've gone into a deep meditation, you might not be consciously aware of it. And if you just like, boom, open your eyes, it can be a shock. It can be really harsh. For example, if you come out of a meditation and you need to get up and go do something, all the more reason to open your eyes slowly before you re-engage on that level. Now, or you could literally walk into a wall. I mean, it could happen because there's going to be some disorientation there. So at the end, and I'll get back to what we did a moment ago with you sitting with your eyes closed. I'll get back to that in just a moment. I just don't want to forget these parts. At the end of your meditation, before you even open your eyes, I mean after a real meditation, not just this little exercise, take at least 3 minutes to stop the mantra and sit quietly. And you don't really need to set a timer, just have it in your head, at least 3 minutes. And then when you feel like you've hit that mark, then go through the process of slowly opening your eyes. If at all possible, it's great to be able to lay down, say for 5 or 10 minutes before your meditation, and then lay down for 5 or 10 minutes after the meditation. That's just if you want to, basically do everything you can to just be friendly to your meditation experience. It's not necessary though, but it is nice. So yeah, at the end of a meditation, then take about 3 minutes before you start opening your eyes like that. Okay, so getting back to what we did a few minutes ago with the sitting with your eyes closed, I'm going to have you do that again. You just did it, and I'm going to ask you to do it again. So you're going to close your eyes, and I'm going to be quiet for a moment. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Close your eyes. Okay, and now just slowly start to open your eyes. And I have a question for you. My question is, did you experience any thoughts while you were sitting there with your eyes closed? Did you experience any thoughts? And for some of you will automatically answer no. That's pretty normal that some folks will just answer no. No, I did not have any thoughts. If we were actually sitting together in a room, at this point, if you said no, you did not have any thoughts, I would have you do it again. And like I said, I would probably actually have you sit for at least a minute, maybe a couple of minutes with your eyes closed, and slowly open them, and I would ask you again, did you have any thoughts? And then at that point, some of you would still say no. No, I did not have any thoughts. Well, the truth is you did have thoughts. Some of you are aware you had thoughts. That's good. You already know where we're going with this. or at least you're aware you had thoughts. For those of you that think you didn't have thoughts, you just didn't notice them because it's so much a part of your everyday reality, thinking, that it was like they're invisible to you. They're there, they're happening. So why is that important? Because this is how we experience the mantra. Just like a thought. It's like when you first start off, I'm going to have you saying the mantra out loud and then slowly say it softer and softer and softer and softer and softer and bring it inside. And then you'll be experiencing it as a thought. And this is just for the beginning, for the first time that you're meditating. Now, the reason I'm saying you experience it like a thought is because you'll notice that thoughts, you don't have to try to make them happen. You don't really sit down and think, okay, now we will think. I am thinking now. Now I am thinking thought. No, that's not how it works. Thoughts come into your awareness naturally and easily. And this is how we experience the mantra. When it comes time for you to sit down, you will know that you're going to meditate. You already know that. And so the mantra will come easily like a thought. For example, when you begin each meditation, and I'm going to recommend meditating twice a day for 20 minutes twice a day. I'm also going to recommend that you view this as non-negotiable. Now, if you want to only do it once a day, okay, only do it once a day. Once a day is better than none. But either way, whether it's once or twice a day, yes, highly recommended for twice a day, but once a day, better than nothing. View it as non-negotiable, as something that must happen. Because if, generally speaking, if you allow other things to come to get in the way, then pretty soon you won't even be doing it anymore anyway. You know, it's like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this, I got to do that, and then pretty soon it's like you're just not doing it. So, non-negotiable. View it as something that's so important that you give yourself regular set times for it, and you practice it once or twice a day. Highly recommend twice a day. But you've got to practice it with that firm commitment. Otherwise, the odds are very, very good that you'll just stop and you won't really give it a fair chance in your life. And interestingly enough, I'm not sure why this is, but it's like, generally speaking, maybe even more than generally speaking, once a person begins, if they fall by the wayside with it, I swear, it can be one of the hardest things to start again, at least for me. So, okay, you've got the commitment, and you've got your set times. You're going to wait approximately 30 seconds for the mantra to kick in. I mean, like I said, you know why you're there. So it's going to kick in. If, for whatever reason, you feel like after approximately, you don't need to be all anal about it, but if after approximately 30 seconds you feel like the mantra has not kicked in, then go ahead and give it a little nudge. Just give it a little nudge. And as you're meditating, with your eyes closed, sitting up fairly straight. Now, if you're sick, you can do this laying down, but ordinarily, just sitting up straight. You can use a lotus or a half lotus, or just sitting in a chair, sitting regular. So, if after 30 seconds it doesn't kick in, you give yourself that little nudge, and then you're off and running. Now, throughout the course of the meditation, it's perfectly normal to drift into other spaces. That's okay. That's part of it. That's like the lawnmower happening. That's like the sound of the wind in the trees or whatever. It's all part of the experience, and it's absolutely perfect. But when you notice that you're off of your mantra, then just gently bring it back. Just gently re-engage and then off and running again. And what happens is, after a while, and I don't know how long it'll be for you, or short, it falls into an automatic pilot thing, where you sit down to meditate and boom, forget about waiting 30 seconds. It's like you're there. Also, something else interesting that happens is, when you've been doing this for a little while, once again, I don't know what it'll be like for you, but when you've been doing it for a little while, say you're doing it twice a day, you'll notice it feels like your batteries need charging, because actually you're getting a lot out of this. You may not be consciously aware of it, but you're getting a lot out of this, and your body actually gets into a space of craving it. And it's like nourishment. It's like all of a sudden you're like really thirsty, except you're thirsty for this like energy infusion on a deeper level. And after a while you'll notice it's like, whoa, I think it's time to meditate again. And then you'll notice by looking at a clock that it has fallen into your set meditation time range, whatever you've chosen. Morning meditation. I recommend meditating first thing in the morning. Okay, you have to get up and go to the bathroom. Go ahead and do that. And go ahead and get back into bed, sit up, or get your chair, whatever, and give yourself that 30 seconds. And if it doesn't kick in, go ahead, kick it in, and you're off and running. I mentioned the 20-minute thing. That's just to give you some structure. You don't really need to adhere to that, but if you're going over, if you're going longer, that's fine. The thing is, you don't want to go less. That's why I'm giving you the structure of 20 minutes. Also, some of the information that I'm sharing with you, some of you may be knowledgeable and know where I got some of this information from. And once upon a time I had to sign non-disclosure agreements, but there is plenty of information available out there in the world, freely available to people. I happen to know information that is similar. So I don't feel like I'm violating any non-disclosure agreements. Now, this is all the beginning aspect. I don't know if I mentioned it. I also became a siddha at one point. And that was like a $5,000 course. So the information I'm sharing with you is actually very expensive if you get it from certain places. So I just want to mention that. This might seem kind of just light and easy, and the information, a lot of it is available out there freely, but there's a lot of garbage information out there too. And so that's what makes me a fabulous resource. Okay, I want to mention time. Now, let's say you begin with a mantra. Let's say you've chosen to use a word instead of the God mantra that I'm about to give you, which once again is the Om. Let's say you've chosen something else. Whatever you choose, whatever you go with, don't change it up. This is a commitment thing, and you're messing with the whole thing. If you do one for like 1 day or 1 week or 1 month or whatever, and then decide to change it into something else, you've got to give it a chance. And giving it a chance means sticking with it. Quick story. When I first began, with, say, transcendental meditation, I was meditating, for like a couple of weeks, and I'm like, where are the changes? I thought like stuff was supposed to be happening. So I asked my teachers, it's like, what's going on? I mean, shouldn't I be like flying by now or something, And it was like, they said, don't analyze it, just do it. The understanding will take care of itself. Now, also I want to mention, I could share some experiences that I've had. Yes, profound experiences, definitely in that realm of mystical occurrences. And you too will have your own experiences. Just quickly mentioning the reason I'm not mentioning any really specific happenings is because I've had many teachers tell me, and I lean towards this one myself, it makes sense, that if you hear about the experience Bob or Mary had, then generally speaking, a lot of people are going to want that experience. And if they don't get that experience, they're going to feel like they're missing something, or they're not doing it right, or where's mine? And conceivably, because they're looking so hard for that other experience, they might miss something really mind-blowingly awesome that's right in front of them, but they're not noticing it because they're looking for Mary's experience or Bob's experience. So on a level of profound realizations and occurrences, if you stick with the program, don't worry about it. Yours will come. Just, be open to it, and just know that it's inevitable. Actually, it just is. Okay, so the mantra, I'm going to have you do that right now. We're just going to say Om. Okay. Once again, if you're driving, don't bother. But if you're sitting in a comfortable place right now, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to have you say the Om out loud. And I'm going to say softer, 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 softer. And you're going to bring that inside and to the point where you're just thinking it. Okay? And then from there, I'm going to let you just sit for a few moments having your experience. Once again, if we were sitting together, I would have you in that place for about 10 minutes. And then I would have you come out slowly. You would stop the mantra, and you would take a few moments, and then slowly open your eyes. But once again, this is the radio, so I'm just giving you the radio version of it. But you can do this. You can do this on your own. After that, what I would do, once again, if we were sitting together in the same room, I would actually have you do a 20-minute meditation. After which time, once you slowly emerged, I would ask you if you had any questions. So feel free to contact me. What I'm doing now is I'm just attempting to share something that I already know is powerful and profound. I mean, no doubt. I know I'm going on and on about this, and some of you will be able to hear me. It's going to click, and you're just going to know that this is the right thing for you. So okay, let's do it now. Just start saying Om out loud. Om, Om, Om. Don't worry about the pronunciation. Just go ahead. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, now softer, 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 softer. Now bring it inside. Bring it inside. Bring it inside. Okay. And now, just for the sake of the space of the radio program, go ahead and stop your mantra. Now, if you feel somehow an overwhelming desire to keep going, then go ahead and keep going. I've already shared a lot with you, and it's okay. It's possible that your entire system will be screaming out for more right now, and maybe to keep going for you right now is the best. So go ahead if that's the space you're in. But outside of that, it seems like a very simple technique, and it is. It is very simple. But I can tell you from personal experience that it is completely profound where you can go with this technique. So it seems like maybe I left a few things out. I had some notes. I didn't really make a lot of notes before this talk. I figured basically the talk would take care of itself. But What? Now I'm wondering. It seems like I started to say something, and did I finish saying that? I'm not sure. Well, once again, feel free to contact me with questions. And if you want to get together privately, this is actually a life-changing technique. It can definitely be hugely, not to be understated, hugely profound and life-changing. But yeah, you gotta keep it up. You gotta keep it up. Don't let yourself put anything else in front of it. Make this super important that nothing else comes before it, and you'll get there. My primary reason for beginning in the world of meditation when I was a kid was as an aspirant to enlightenment. I discovered the other stuff along the way, in relation to improved mind-body coordination and health benefits and all that stuff. But my primary area of interest was enlightenment. And, well, that's another story. But it does tie into something that if you've been with me for a while, you'll notice at the end of every program at one point I say, "And my name is Pleiades Moonstar, and I love you." Is that just a cute thing to say? Did I just decide to say it because I think it sounds good? Actually, it's directly tied in to realizations of direct experience and understanding of life that leads me into a space of actually saying that. No, it's not just a cute saying. I actually mean it. So, all this too can be yours. I guess there it is. I'm just going to end this now. I thank you for your attention. I hope some of the things that I've shared will be helpful and beneficial to you. I apologize if I left something out or if I was unclear about something. All the more reason to make better notes before I give a talk like this. But I know for a fact I've given you enough to work with. And this is important, so don't be shy if you have questions. It's important to ask your questions. And there's no such thing as a stupid question. I firmly believe that. If you don't know, you need to know, ask me. Oh, I wanted to mention that. If you do start a meditation program, I recommend not really sharing it with everybody. There's a lot of ignorance in the world in relation to meditation. And maybe somebody attempting to be helpful could mess with your head. For example, I was a meditator when I was a kid for maybe about a week, something like that, and I met this woman, and she was very sincere, very serious, she's like, "Oh, don't do that, I have a friend and it turned her brain to jelly." You ever notice sometimes people make stuff up, but to make it more believable, they have this friend it happened to? Well, fortunately for me, I was very strong-willed, and I didn't let her mess with me, and I just figured she was wrong, and so I kept meditating. And I'm very glad I did. In this life, there are many things that I would do differently if I had the chance to do it again. But meditation, I still would have started that. And I'm very grateful for the experience. So there we have it. Thank you again for your patience and understanding. Next week, we're going to, I'm not going to tell you what we have next week, but I guarantee it's going to be exciting. Bye for now.
And it controls what we remember. 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 And it controls what we remember.
Thank you for listening to The World According to Pleiades on KFUG Radio in Crescent City, California. If you have any topics you'd like covered, or you feel you have the potential to make a good interviewee, please send your suggestions and or information to KFUG Radio, 270 I Street, Crescent City, California, 95531. Attention, Pleiades. Or email me at radiointerview@moonstar-enterprises.com. That's radiointerview@moonstar-enterprises.com. My name is Pleiades Moonstar, and I love you.